Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year, January 1st, 2026, 3:45 p.m. here on the right coast, or let's say the coast on the right side of the contiguous United States. Um, so it was great. We had some folks in here last night and did some baseball, and it was fun. So today I'm trolling around on Facebook, and there was a person who had been a longtime Strat player and decided that since Out of the Park Baseball, which I'm showing right now, is $10 on the Steam Winter Sale, he thought he would give it a go. And so overall, I mean, as you would expect, the comments were really, really, really positive concerning this game. So I have three games sitting in my taskbar right now in terms of complexity. Out of the Park Baseball, I have Action PC Baseball minimized right now, and Baseball for Windows. Um, Other games as well that I have that are complex. Most digital baseball games are, which is why we're going to talk about this a little bit on the tin. And I don't think this is going to be a long broadcast. We'll see if we get some good discussion going or whatever. But I like to parlay this into something that maybe Bernie and I can talk about in the January edition of our Diamonds and Dice podcast. I almost keep calling Digital to Dice. Apologies to Dave Gardner and Ron Juckett. You guys do a great job. I keep forgetting what Bernie and I call our podcast. So there was a couple comments. I'm not going to bring up the Facebook page because obviously anonymity. You don't want or whatever you want people's names up there. But I forget which baseball group it is. You can go look at it for yourself. Um, but there was one person or a couple people. I'm talking specifically about Out of the Park Baseball that was saying it's it has too much complexity or just too much. And I was really, really, really thinking about what does that mean? Too much complexity, right? Because this guy didn't really. I think if you make an assertion, try to back it up, even if your argument is specious, whatever. At least bring up something. But that was it. It was just this sort of almost a pontifical statement of there's it's too complex. But I want to offer that there is simplicity within complexity, and that if you embrace it, it's no longer complex. It's no longer scary, right? So this game and Baseball for Windows and Action PC Baseball and Diamond Mind and Pure Sim and Dombrov Baseball, Baseball Mogul even. Although I would say Baseball Mogul is probably the most user friendly um, digital baseball game, but there are certain sacrifices, there are certain limitations. So now let me offer this. My way of thinking is in terms of just kind of anything. So hey Philip, great to see you. Happy New Year. So is something good because it's complex, and there's nobody that will deny that Out of the Park Baseball is a very, very deep, very complex baseball game. It is. I mean, I've got just on this league home screen here of this Myths League that I have going on that I play on, here for the family, and we interact and stuff like that. It's a big, heavily, heavily worked on and constant work in process of all time great teams. And there's a lot going on here that I can see. I can see that the Milwaukee Brewers right now in this project um, are leading the league in defensive efficiency. Whoa, whoa, what? When you talk defensive, what? Who? Right? But it's there. But is that what makes it great? Complexity for its own sake, certainly it isn't. But when you talk, hey, cousin Ken Castro, happy New Year. He says, you played an hour or so. I'm thinking early evening, actually, if you don't mind. I'll come on a bit earlier tonight, if that's okay. And we'll do 1912. So it won't be a late night game, but maybe a little, like I'll message you in the Messenger Magic box and see what works for you this evening. Yeah? So you just got back from the gym and working on some grub. Grub on, my brother. Grub on. Complexity in itself is not good if it's obtuse. If it's Byzantine, I love using that word, Byzantine. Okay, thanks, cousin. Hey, Barbara, you were outside with Pippin. All right, well, welcome in. There she is, the whirlwind herself. Um, no, so complexity, obtuse systems and themselves don't make something great. At the end of the day, greatness, goodness, whatever sort of quality that we put into something is entirely subjective. So this little thing I'm going to do here for a little bit, this is not for the cards and dice guys so much as it is for the people coming into digital baseball, and some of the cards and dice guys, like this guy that was on Facebook who has made the leap into this, and he's really confused. But what was really nice about it is he said, yeah, but I'm sticking with it. I see the potential. There's so much I can do. So Steve Tate, we had a discussion about this probably a couple of years ago or whatever, and the complexity also exists in action PC baseball. Let's pop it up here for a second. So it looks, when you compare it to out of the park baseball, it looks like, oh, this is easy to get around in. No, it is maybe it's user interface, but when I start hitting these menus up here, the not the red ones, that's what everything, but this thing has menus upon menus upon menus upon menus upon menus. It's a very complex game. But what makes this a great game and something that it can be very, very simple, and don't be afraid, embrace it. Um, this game, this is Baseball for Windows, but Baseball for Windows is a modular game. And this is the game that kind of, with Bernie, he's like, it's just modular and there's all these pieces and parts. But all the pieces and parts in this game speak to one another. But again, just this basic thing, if I do select play manual game, I'm off to the races. But look at all these menu choices. So a digital baseball game is meant to allow you to do things that you can't, and this is not a knock, but you can't do it with an analog baseball game. We use the term analog interchangeably with cards and dice. Cards and dice is great. I'm loving the fact that even though I don't have the room to physically roll the dice and put out game boards and cards and an RGL mini baseball diamond, which I absolutely love, I don't have the room to do that. Sure, I could get a dice tower and do the things that Dwayne's doing, but he's still manipulating cards. So I can play Stratmax and Appa-Go, and I am playing Stratomatic just as much, and Appa just as much as you guys that are actually rolling the dice and flipping the cards. I am playing the same game you're playing. It's just that my cards aren't made of wood wood pulp paper planes, right? They're digital images. We're still playing the same game. But there are certain things in those games that I simply cannot do. So yes, you can set up tournaments in both of those games, but there's no normalization in those games because of the nature of them. But that doesn't make them bad. It makes it another avenue of exploration, if anything like that. And that's fun. But what I want to get back to is just about digital games themselves. And let me minimize, save a little resources here. There we go. All right. It's back to this. So again, this guy, it was too much complexity. Well, if you step back and ask, okay, what is this game designed to do? What's Action PC Baseball designed to do? What's Baseball for Windows designed to do? Dombrov Baseball, any digital baseball sim, and even the ones I don't play, I can make the same argument about PC Replay, National Pastime 3, whatever. Name the digital game, and you're going to have complexity. So out of the park baseball, hey, there's Brother Jack Dawson. And we know Brother Jack Dawson he's got to be somewhere very east or very west of me to say good evening. So, yeah. So good afternoon where I am, and good evening to you, Brother Jack Dawson. Great to see you, buddy. So The advertising, the tagline for this particular game is an infinite baseball playground. Is it truly infinite? No. Is it humanly infinite? Absolutely. And if you want me to define those two terms that are used in mathematics, I will if you want. But I think you guys get the difference between actually infinite and humanly infinite. This is a humanly infinite game. It's designed to be that playground, right? So Marcus Heinsohn, Matt Arnold, all the guys, right? All the people involved with Alla Park Baseball, beginning with 1999 and moving forward now. And now beta testing is going to start ramping up for Alla Park 27. It's like, okay, we're going to give you the tools, and each year we're going to keep refining and adding to create the baseball universe that you want to create, and to impose as few limits as possible. So, as Steve Tate so rightly said when we were speaking about complexity in games, just there was a chat in a Discord or what have you, that by necessity there has to be a lot of moving parts. I know as a keyboard player, especially modern synthesizers are extremely powerful. But if you even go back to the original, like to the mini Moogs, right? But if you want to see something that's really scary, go look at a Moog. I have a virtual studio full size like Moog, and it will do everything that Keith Emerson's Moog did. And these things would be like sometimes stand 7, 8 feet tall with patch cables and knobs and sliders and dot 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 dot. Hey, good day to you, John, and happy day one of 2026, and also the Merry Sixth Day of Christmas. Um, so there's going to be complexity, but what the game devs hope, and when you go into any game, is that you're not going to just go into something like really, really scary when you first fire this up and start getting freaked out by all of this, right? And this scares. This might be, except for the advanced mode, this might be the thing that scares the bejesus out of people with out of the park baseball. And you know what? It's like anything, you kind of take it a bit of a time. You can play this game for hours, for months, for years, and never have to come in here. Never, never, never. You never have to come in here. Maybe, with rules, you might want to come in and do some things, but financials, I never touch, right? All of this stuff that's going on in here, you don't have to play with this at all. You don't have to touch it. Let yourself go into all of that, right? I mean, look, again, menus upon menus, and people look and say, oh my God. But you don't have to go that way. But it's there for you. And I think that if somebody says that a game like this is too complex, you're inferring or implying that that is a fault and that the game could be doing something. But how would you be able to have that creative freedom and to create this baseball universe that, again, is, as Dave Gardner always reminds us, as soon as you click that mouse or roll the dice, you're playing fantasy baseball, or you're playing fantasy football or hockey or whatever that is. But if you want that the ability is there. But out of the park baseball is not a difficult game. It really is not a difficult game. You can get as right, as dirty as you want with it or whatever. You can look at league totals here if you want, which is just great for research. So don't be scared. We could look at league totals here, just that, and let's look in the baseball boom, and let's take 1971, right? And we can see all these delicious stats here in 1971, right? And all those things. But I don't need this to play the game. If I want to get deep and I want to see, okay, how can I get more accurate, or how can I get a little less accurate? I can come in here and play around if I want. I can go up and do all this crazy stuff like Like all these league functions and stuff like that. You don't really have to do that. You want to do feeder leagues, you want to do all that stuff. Okay, you could add a development league, a draft league. You can do all that stuff, but you don't have to, right? You can start very simply. Just go to your start screen, right? Let it do what it's doing. All right. So, you go to your start screen. Look, I know I sound like a show for Out of the Park Baseball, but I'm not. Look, click new game. And you want to do a season replay. I highly recommend in this game, in Baseball for Windows, in Dombrov Baseball, in Action PC Baseball, we'll let it make its appearance there for a second. You know what? Pick a season, do a replay. Barbara says, right, I thought I was going to be overwhelmed with this game, but I can choose to use extra stuff or not. I will start simple, she says. I'm going to put that up there because that is really something that I hope people, hey, Shakis, Parallel League, Happy New Year, buddy. That's something that I wish that people that are making their first foray into digital baseball sims can understand. Because let's face it, cards and dice, it's like, okay, there's a complexity that goes on there as well, but it's kind of deceptive. As Barbara also, then again, let's put this comment, what she said as well here, that she will start simply. All right. You look at some analog baseball games, and there's charts upon charts upon charts, and this die decides that, and whatever, and boom, 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 and going through all this to find out that the guy popped out to catcher. So let's I think disabuse ourselves of the fact that an analog baseball game is super simple. It's not. There's still a lot going on there, right? And I think Ken Castro, and if he wouldn't mind, just I don't know what his feelings are on this, but there's complexity in those games as well. It's not just roll the dice, there it is. D. Scott Howard, welcome in. Happy New Year. How'd your Grateful Dead Fest go last night? I hope well. Right? But I think it's because those things feel familiar that maybe there's a cognitive bias toward that. I don't know. Good night, John Boy, says Shakis. But this game is quite simple. Pick a season you want to replay. So here's the easiest intro to any baseball game, any digital baseball game. Pick a season. It's a new historical game. Don't touch advanced mode. If you're new to Out of the Park Baseball, this doesn't exist. Pretend it doesn't exist. All right? So it splits baseball up into eras. Everything from the analytics years, money years, power years, defensive era, and then all the seasons going back to 1871. So let's just pick a season, man. Let's go to the defensive era. And you get this nice little season recap. Already you're learning stuff. And let's pick 1991. There we go. So we can read all about 1991. Nice little recap. Now you got that. Easy. Import complete history all the way up there. You want to do that. You want to have that context. Then there are two modes that I think are perfect if you're new to the game. And that's drive for the pennant and replay mode. The other modes, I don't think you should jump into right away if you're new to this game. So drive for the pennant gives you a little taste of being a GM and being a field manager. You're gonna be dropped into some very random, sometimes very tough situations you've got to try to field manage your way out of. This will work with any season in baseball history from 1901 onward. John is doing a 78 career mode. So career mode is a little bit more, we'll go through these game modes. But I just want to show how for a game as complex as this, it can be very, very simple. Smelly Wrestling Geek says, hey, Beatles, haven't seen one of your streams since last year. I know, dude. Where have you been? I haven't seen you since 2025. I won't take this anymore. Sitting down, standing up, lying down, or wow, we'll talk about hanging from the ceiling. That's a whole different thing. Anyhow, So you want to play Drive for the Pennant. It's an historical league. Drive through the season, jumping into the action at specific moments. After the season, you can select a mode to continue on with. I think this is just as fun for digital baseball veterans as it is for people new to the game. And here's the thing about Drive for the Pennant: you only are managing one team, and you're not even really messing with financials. You're just, you might deal with a little bit, but it's a real gentle introduction to the game. But then for those of us who like to let's shake things up, this is also great things, and it's fun to go in there and you're like, okay, I'm down 3 runs going into the ninth inning, middle of my order's up, but they've just brought on their best closer, and the game, you get this message: try to win the game. So now that baseball mind, yep, 2025 only seems like yesterday. How about it? So what have you been doing for the last 6 months? To Shaka's answer, 6 months. Yeah. 6 months. So the default mode meant for players who want historical accuracy with some flexibility. Players will be rated entirely on their actual performance, but not necessarily fixed to their historical teams. So again, that's a great mode. It's super fun. Replay mode. This is the other one, though, for new players. Replay mode is meant for players who want historical accuracy. Players will be rated entirely based on their actual performance and will follow trends relating to their career progression. Players will be assigned to their teams, and actual lineups and transactions will be used. So if you want to do a season replay, and right now this is on sale, $9.95, $10, whatever, Steam Winter Sale until the 5th. And I'm glad that Strat guy, he said, I've been a Strat player for years, but I wanted to find out what Out of the Park is. And he says, I'm really confused and I'm having fun. This is all about the guy that came on and said, too much complexity. What do you want, dude? You know, I don't know about you, but if I was flying to Australia, I think I would rather go in a 767 than a Cessna turboprop. Just saying. Okay, so career mode. Is what John DFW is doing. So career mode aims to play through history from the starting year while letting things play out differently than they did in real life. Players will develop differently than they did in real life, will get hurt, will sign with different teams. That is one way to rewrite baseball history, which you are anyhow. But replay mode, and you do got to get your hands a little bit dirty. You got to go in and check a few things in settings that we can always go over. But this one and Drive for the Pennant, if you're really, really new, Drive for the Pennant. But season replay, pick a season that that is, it inside, outside, upside down. The shoe size of your players. Whether whether they're superstitious or not. You know everything about the season, the name of every concessionaire in every ballpark, whatever. Pick a season that you know. Last one is random debut mode, right? It's the ultimate fantasy mode. The rosters and players in the game will pull from history. Some players may only debut later in their careers. If you're a newbie, don't go there because you're not going to be able to get a sense of this game. You need to get used to this game first, and you want to play a replay anyhow. If you're playing analog baseball, it's like, hey, I bought the 1980 season. I'm going to replay the 1980 season or whatever, right? Same thing here. Now, the park can be ridiculously complex, says D. Scott Howard, but only if you make it so. Comment that one. Only if you make it so. And as simple as any other game. It's a sandbox. And it is. Shaka says his player doesn't wear shoes. Yeah, we know who that player is and what team he's on in the Michael McGreevy League. So Sheila's Joe Jackson. So, but you're absolutely spot on, D. Scott. Only if you make it so. Let's go to default mode. So we're going to do what would be a season replay of 1991. And look at this. It's a league creation wizard. That's why you don't have to touch this. If you do, there's lots more to be had, lots more fun to be had. But this is out of the scope. I don't want to click that and freak people the hell out. Next step. Okay. So it's a choice. All right. Real life transactions lineup. This is not recommended because historical minor leagues were enabled, which we did. Please select if you want to use real historical transactions and lineups. Using these options will disable the following rules and options: financial system, roster limits, trades, drafts, injuries, suspensions. You can turn these on, turn these off. I turn them on. That's what I do. I import all the real minor leagues for context. Okay. Recalc. Just do it. Leave it at 1 year. You're doing a season replay. Leave it at 1 year. Okay. Just leave it there. No rookie draft to worry about. No expansion. You are playing in 1 year. It's not going to carry over. Turn off financial import. Okay. This is all easy. We're on step 3. Okay. Do you want to use scouting? Historical replay leagues have the scouting system disabled and hence 100 accuracy by default. So, okay, we'll leave it off. Some people say you should turn it on. Set the rating system that you like. Very simple. I don't use fictional pictures, so I always turn this off. Next step. All right, loading. New game. Okay. Wow. Are we really almost there? Choose when you want to autosave. I like dynamic, and I always play as a manager, play in commissioner mode, which lets you control all other kinds of things. It says here's not recommended for regular users, only for those who wish to have more control over the teams in their game universe. So this is where I would disagree. I would say do this because I think that when you're doing a season replay, there might be some things that you want to be able to Happy New Year, D13-L3Y. What's up, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. So, throw together a team and join our league, Barbara. Beatles is going to do all the work. Yeah, I got to get it done, but it's getting there. Don't worry about the trading settings. Just don't even worry about it. Okay, we're almost done. Type in your name or type in somebody else's name. I could put Ken Castro up here, whatever. Then click next step. And I'll let the game do what it's going to do. This was really, really easy. And so people talk about it's complex and I don't know how to get around this and get around that. Even with me rabbiting on here right now, we have 1991 just about ready to go. Yeah, so I am. I'm gonna so yeah, I'm gonna, Barbara's gonna get some tutelage, which is why I do these things live, right? Because you can do right. I could do all this thing in a little 1 hour video and then get a gazillion comments and stuff like that. But this is a way for people to say, yeah, ask questions or make these great comments that D Scott D Scott has made, and Barbara has made and others, right? It is. I can turn on a synthesizer. I was starting to use that analogy before. And I can just pick an old sawtooth wave, adjust the envelope a little bit, and I've got a sound. Turn one little knob. Maybe I want to increase the release or the attack or the decay portion. I change that little bit. That sound has already changed. It's complex, but I can create sounds. I have that ability to create, and I love that. So I approach these games like that. It's like, all right, you've given me the tools. I want to try them. But I had to ease my way into this, into all these games. Action PC Baseball. First thing I did with Action PC Baseball was I just did a season replay. I didn't mess with anything else. And type in Ken's name at your own risk. How about it? Yeah, he's off grubbing. He was at the gym and stuff. So this evening, at some point, Ken and I will be doing Game 4 of the 1912 World Series, in which my New York Giants will once again demonstrate their superiority to those Red Sox of 1912. Although tonight's going to be Jeff Tesreau against Smokey Joe Woods, so we may have a job of work. Although we did beat Smokey Joe in Game 1, so we'll see. Hope you join us. That'll be on Appa Go. And this is loading a lot in because logos, pictures, ballparks, all that stuff. So, and I haven't put this on a faster computer yet. So, this game, it can be overwhelming. All right, there we go. Who do I want to manage? Well, the damn Pittsburgh Pirates, of course. But because I'm in commissioner mode, I can really work for anybody. But there we go. I'm the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I have Jim Leyland's job. Boom, start game. When you hit start game, man, you're home free. You really are. But let's go a little bit deeper because it's not bad to have a bit of complexity. In fact, while we're talking about complexity, you know what? See this menu system, these little icons over here on the right hand side of the screen? Ignore them. You don't need them. They're nice to have, but if you're a new player to Out of the Park Baseball, they're going to mess you up, man. They're going to mess you up. They're going to slap you around and call you a Joyce or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to make something up here as we go along. I know a lot of people are watching feetball today, the college feetball, and many more people seem to be fans of that than the pro feetball. So thank you, baseball fans, for coming in. And we are about 5 weeks away from the Super Bowl Sunday baseball spectaculous, whatever. Okay, it's doing scouting, updating uniforms. It's busy, and that's cool. I like that. I love that part. That's like a Pink Floyd light show there. Right? It's like the beginning of one of these days. We're ready to go. We're in 1991. Now let's get a little bit more, just a little bit more complex. Okay? By going to our home screen. So there's a lot here. But if you look at just look at the logic of it. Everything's laid out logically. Team home screen. Boom. There we go. Okay. Now I do have there's some menus up here. I can look at them or not as I wish. But maybe the first thing you want to do is kind of just mouse over, look at some of your players, and then maybe you want to click on a player and get a little bit more. Click on Jay Bell. There you go. Look at this. Wow, we got Jay Bell's all this stuff about Jay Bell. But I just want to look at his ratings. Cool. I'm not even going to look at his real life stats yet. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, Jay Bell's ratings. Pretty nice. Up here, acts like a browser. Boom. Now I'm back to the previous page. Pretty nice. Oh, Doug Drabeck. Let's check out Doug Drabeck, but I want to look at his real life stats. Well, there's Doug Drabeck. There's his entire career. Looking at different, it does a lot of pitching stats because a lot of stats with pitching. There you go. Now you can do fun little research thingies and get to know your team, whatever. Okay. But again, use a little back button. There you go. Um, so you can also go to recently visited screens. So you really can't get lost. It leaves you a nice little breadcrumb. So let's go back to, oh, geez, what I want to get back to my home page. Well, I can just do that by going, boom, there we go, back on the home page. Looking at strategy, right? So this is going to be, you don't even have to touch this, right? If you don't want to touch this, don't. If you do, play around with some sliders. Maybe the team you're managing, you want to use more hit and run tactics if you feel that your team can do that. Fine. If not, hey, bring in some strategy presets in the game and you're ready to rock and roll. Or if you want, you can ask the AI to set your strategy, or you can import a manager file. Or you don't have to touch it at all. But remember, if you don't touch it at all, you may get some sort of different results, and that's okay if you're open to that. There's your lineups. You want to drag people around, do it. In 19, if you don't want Andy Van Slyke to lead off, fine, drag him down. Let Barry Bonds lead off. Whatever you want to do. There's your freedom. You can move people up and down on your active and reserve roster. It's right. Go to the graphical depth chart. And here's the other thing. So I did suggest playing in commissioner mode in case you wanted to tweak other teams. But you can resist that. If you don't want to play in commissioner mode, you could have it turned on, but just don't go anywhere else. And just, maybe, you're like, I don't think Lloyd McClendon should be in there just if Gary Varsho gets tired, even though he's gonna see a lot of roles as a pinch hitter. Maybe I want to see what happens if I have Lloyd McClendon playing in every 10th game. Well, all I have to do is click it, and it would be every 10th game. Same thing, Gary Redus. Maybe I want to let him every 20 games. You can do that. There's nothing that is so complex about this game that just in this, you can set up daily lineups and all this kind of stuff. Look at this. You can tailor. So it looks scary, but if you kind of look at what you're doing, it's like, oh, okay, these are my lineups of left-handed pitchers right versus lefties with a DH, and then there's with no DH, and you can see that they're changing up. Overview things, right? Don't mess with front office. You don't have to. If we go to pitching, here's set your rotation. Just let yourself. It's like this says pitching. What does it do? Oh, I see. This is where I can set my rotation. This is where I can set the role of my relievers. So here we have Stan Belinda's primary role is middle relief. His usage off is you can choose to use more often or normal or whatever. His secondary role is setup. Okay. Now I can see here, right? Bill Landrum. This is accurate. He was a closer, but my usage option is going to be 8th inning or later, and I can set a secondary role if I wanted for Bill Landrum. Maybe I could make him if my pitchers get decimated. They all go out to a D. Scott Howard animal sitting fest where he's doing 3 hours of Grateful Dead, and you're like you've become so much one with Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir and stuff like that you need an emergency starting pitcher. Go ahead and do it. Nothing to be afraid of here. And then when you're ready to go, right, you can just go play, and then when we hit this, I will show you about Mike Silva's parks. So, G. Scott Howard says you buy a park from Steam. Loading Mike Silva's wonderful historic ballpark collection is just a few click process. It is. If you buy the game directly from the developers, you got to do a little bit more work, but it's not bad. And I'll show you how to do that too. Okay. So everything is being simulated in the background leading up to opening day, which we're not going to do the game, by the way. So I just want to try to get that guy who said it's too complex say, yeah, really? Okay. There was nothing complex. We're ready to go. So there, my owner has sent me that welcome to the season. He hoped that the off season has treated you well. Owners, say that shit, but they really don't care, right? And then, right, we go to play game versus Montreal. We're ready to go. You can specify when you want to play, whatever, but this game is ready to play. MLB. All right, let's go to League Home. What can I do in League Home? Well, I'm looking at there's no stats here yet. Well, what else is in here? League notes, standings. Oh, I can go to standings. There's where they all live, and I can click on any one of these teams and jump around. Use this little thing up here. Acts like a web browser, just like a web browser. If I wanted to look at the Detroit Tigers, I can do all those things, and I'm never going to get lost. Oop, just go back. Right? Pirates, team home screen. Here's a great way to look. Another great way to look. There's the Pirates farm system for 1991. So with this game, you can play minor league baseball if you want. Go for it. There's everybody else. There's another way to look at it. So it is complex, but what we just did is really, 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 really simple. Just follow the wizard, follow the yellow brick road, and you can be playing this complex game. So D. Scott Howard is already starting the tutorial on that, so I will do that right now. So let's go ahead and go to the Out of the Park start screen. And this game saves when you're sort of moving around and stuff. Okay. So luckily, I have Steam up here as well. Have to. So let's bring up Steam. All right. And let's go to the workshop because this is important. So this the way the workshop works for out of the park baseball is different than it works for any other Steam game. So in other Steam games, right, you click subscribe and it automatically downloads. That's not what happens in out of the park baseball. You have to subscribe, and then within the game, you have to download. So let's go to all 31 items. All 31 items. And this is the two that you're really, these are the must-haves. The historical stadiums, little misnomer 1901 to present, because Mike did some 19th century parks in here as well. And historical uniforms, logo, and jersey fonts for out of the park baseball. Get these two. So you would just click down here. There'll be a little green sort of cross, a little green plus. I don't know if I can see on one of these. You can see I've subscribed to pretty much every damn thing on here, right? And so, by the way, too, A.S. Rivkin's ballpark collection is a good one too, because it covers some things that maybe Mike hasn't done. So good stuff as well. The embroidered team logos are excellent, but really right now, the essential two are these two, and then get the other mods as you go along because they're excellent. Okay, once you've subscribed to both the historical stadiums and the historical uniforms, then we go back to the out of the park start screen. And now, if you've bought this from Steam, and you wouldn't see this if you didn't buy it from Steam, just go to Workshop Central, and it's loading item data. And here it's going to see all your mods. And over here, so all the things you subscribe to, right? And then it will say this item is downloaded. Click here to install or reinstall it. And that's all you do. So and we're not going to do it because I already have it. So I would just collect or do, and I've got to tell them they've got a typo here, historical. Then also the historical stadium mod. This is the Mike Silva mod, which is brilliant, right? So you just do this, and it is just going to install everything to where it needs to go. You don't have to mess around with anything. Same with the historical, same with all these Flying Canucks ballparks, A.S. Rivkin's ballparks, in the embroidered MLB team logos, and they're there, and they're done, and you don't have to mess with it. And all the parks will be assigned if you're playing a tournament or if you're playing a season replay, one of the versions. The only time that logos and things aren't going to be properly assigned, where you'll get fictional, quote unquote, fictional logos, would be in a custom league, like the Michael McGreevy League. So that's why I'm saying, okay, what are your, give me your logos, or we'll let the, whatever, generate a random logo in the game, create one with AI or Photoshop or whatever. But that's it. That is really, really, really it. And more of this 44 minutes that I've been going so far, I've just kind of been talking in introductory remarks. Action PC Baseball. All right, same thing. You just bought Action PC Baseball. And if you're mucking about and you're like, oh my God, well, don't. Just don't. Right? You don't have to do that. You can go to season if you want, right? And you can find the seasons that you've installed. Okay. Or, and if you choose not to do that, you can go up to just this one. Just go to install season. And maybe all you bought was just this, right? So we're not going to even mess with seasons folder. We're going to pretend you're really new and you're not a goof like me and you bought every damn thing. All right. And you want to do, last year, you want to do 2025. Click install. And okay. And this is we're going to switch. And now we are in the 2025 season. There we are. And boy, those poor Colorado Rockies, my goodness gracious. Anyhow, that's it. And then play. And there we go. Now, for this game, the toughest thing to do in this game is assigning ballparks, but you just get a zen into it, doing your ballpark layouts, park data. I've done tutorials on that in the past, so maybe we'll do another one again in a few months. I just recently did one. Just play the game. But that being said, right, this can't give you the actual logos because this game isn't licensed by Major League Baseball. So, you know what? Let's get into a little complexity here because there's really a lot of complexity in this game too. All right, let's muck about with Kansas City Royals. Okay, so now we're in the Kansas City Royals, and this game also, right? So by default, is good. It already has the as played lineups and transactions. They're here. They're ready to go. You don't have to mess with it. There's a billion tabs over here. See that? So there's a lot of complexity going on, and I can look at all these things and as a stats geek, get really lost in this kind of stuff and have lots of fun. Um, you know, the notes section is really powerful. This will freak you out. So, sort of like in the advanced thing, the manager thing, if you're doing just a straight up replay, just don't mess with this too much on your first go through on Action PC Baseball. Because if you do this, you'll be like, oh my God, almost pretty close to the same level of complexity as Out of the Park Baseball. So many tabs, you might call it tabby. Merry 6th day of Christmas and Happy New Year to David Baseball Demos. Paul Strickard. So this guy, Paul Strickard, thank you so much for coming in, man. This is brilliant video. Beatles Out of the Park. Should have you create an intro tutorial for the next version. I'm a beta tester. I wish they would do it. I would love it. So guys, we've got to. So, Paul Strickard is. We always talk about big guns in games and stuff like that. He has been around Out of the Park Baseball, I think, probably as long as I have. I think probably since 1999. All over the Out of the Park forums. He answers questions. He has been involved in some amazing, amazing projects in this game. And it's absolutely incredible. Man, Paul, thank you for coming in. This is like awesome that you're here. Right? So it is. And I mean, and if I were to attempt to do a video or a broadcast that wouldn't scare people off, I'd like to do an advanced video at some point. It'd be really cool to have, like Paul here, Mike Garland, Mike Silva, whatever, so that, we kind of tag team. and I'm going back to Out of the Park Baseball. I'm saying that. But this game also has its complexities. You get down to the nitty gritty. How are you going to manage your batters? How are they managed right now? You can change all that. Managing pitchers, all that stuff. But you know what? You don't need any of this, man. In fact, if you don't want to set a lineup, just go, boom, computer lineup. There you go. Nice. Ready to rock. And then switch guys around if you want. If not, don't do it. Just don't do it, just don't. And you'll be fine. Okay. And you're actually ready to play. This thing's ready to play. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to show you about ballparks and how to assign them. Okay. Well, it's already assigned, but we want to do a logo, right? So here, let's go to modify team. And right, we don't want that. But so do Control K. And let's look for Kansas City, whatever one you want to use. I don't think, I don't really care. So let's do, there we go. Assign logo, click OK, and there we go. So this game it's not going to auto-load logos the way Out of the Park does, like the official logos, because only Out of the Park Baseball and MLB The Show have, in digital games, only have Major League Baseball licensing. Sense of humor. I don't take things too seriously. I mean, at the end of the day, thank you for that. Thank you for catching that. Because at the end of the day, I'm not getting somebody ready to, I'm not ready to do. This isn't cardiac bypass surgery. It's a game. They're games, right? But if you approach this in that manner, take it a little bit at a time. Again, just to recap, take that season that you know really well. And it might be, maybe you're a newbie to baseball. And maybe it is like, I just got into baseball because I realized that football sucks ass. Yay! Welcome to baseball, baby. Welcome in. So maybe you want to start with 2025 because you know those players, and that was such an amazing postseason. You know names like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Go for it. Or maybe you're a bit more, a little bit old school, and you're like, yeah, what about those 1986 Mets? What about the 75 Reds? The 71 Buccos, the night, or if you're like me, let's do something with the 1906 Chicago White Sox hitless wonders. Pick a season with which you are very familiar, and maybe you've played the season in Strat or APA or Baseball Mogul, whatever, and start with that. And again, either play just the replay mode, or if you're super new and you want to just get this game in little bits and bobs, play Drive for the Pennant. It's brilliant. Then it's sort of like anything, right? You learn the art. And again, I have to speak as a musician. So if I'm looking at the architecture of a synthesizer, then it's like, okay, I've got the basic downs. I understand amplitude envelopes. I understand modulation envelopes. Now, what am I going to do with these things called LFOs, low frequency oscillators? What purpose do they do? And what's this cutoff frequency do? And resonance and blah, blah, blah. But you're not going to or be sort of like hopping into a 747 if all you've ever piloted was a Cessna. You're not going to be able to fly that 747, right? Jerseys and team nicknames too, says Baseball Demos. Yeah. And you can do that. So I don't, but yes, jerseys, you're talking about Action PC baseball. Yep. You can have the jerseys in there and stuff. And in out of the park baseball, you can get in there and create jerseys and logos and do all kinds of stuff. But if you look at this thing and you're like, some people get scared off when they see this. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? That I admit that it is, but it's not. It's so simple. So we set up 1991 really, really simply. Um, my favorite for me is the custom game. The custom game is this is the heart of the sandbox right here. We're not going to touch it today. Yes, and you can change Guardians back to the Indians. There's only one instance in which you cannot do that, and that's in a tournament mode. So historical exhibition, you can't change their name. But in a custom league, a replay, whatever, you can do that. That is not out of the park's fault. Cleveland, when they changed to the Guardians, they said you can't, right? It's got to be the Guardians. But in a nod to baseball history, they weren't the Cleveland Guardians the last time they won the World Series, right? 1948. Okay. So this is the only time you cannot change their name, but that's a big deal. But yeah. So, and this is brilliant. Here's another thing. You know what? If you're a newbie and you want to really just get into the out of the park jam a little bit, you want to be like, all right, here we go, right? I'm in that cool jazz club. This is my first time in a cool jazz club. Of course, with the modern BS rules, man, you can't smoke in the old jazz clubs like you could. But you're sitting there, man, and you're like, okay, it's got a bass, got a piano, got a little drum. That's a little three-piece. We're going to listen to some cool jazz here, man. Pick a damn World Series. Pick a World Series. Pick one, whatever. So, well, as a Bucco fan, maybe I'll pick the 1960 Pirates or the 1960 World Series. Okay. Which I forgot to do. There we go. Let's do it this way. I was picking this. That's because I get all excited, man. I just love it. 1960 World Series. And with a click of the mouse, there we go. And thanks to Mike and working with Out of the Park Baseball, look at that. The era proper, year proper logo for the Pittsburgh Pirates, New York Yankees. But you can switch things up, man. You don't want the Pirates to be the home teams. Flip them around. Don't be afraid. You can't break it. Look, flip teams. Boink. There we go. You want to mess with baseball history? Go ahead. I don't know why you would. Turn on the DH. Go ahead. This is ready to go. You get a nice recap of the World Series. Create exhibition. So this is the other way, the easy way to get into out of the park baseball. Pick a World Series and play it. and this is ready to go. You can do a little bit of fine tuning here of your rosters and your rotation and things like that, and just go. So D. Scott Howard says if you want to get down a real deep rabbit hole, you can build your own ballpark. Yeah, I haven't even touched on that. So you can make your own, and they're pretty nice. Um, but that being said, I think with Mike Silva's excellent work, I think most folks are just doing. I'm hoping that they'll develop. The only thing that the ballpark construction kit needs is some more architectural kind of bespoke pieces would be nice. Because Earl Weaver Baseball had, for its time, right, 1987 had a great ballpark creator. So I'd love to see them add to this because it just be kind of fun. Whatever. Hey, there he is. There's Larry with Happy New Year and Happy and Merry 6th Day of Christmas. In a perfect world, turning on a DH should cause the program to crash. It says baseball demos. How about it? Exactly. But I mean, we're ready to go, right? So I'm not going to change anything here. I can look, but you can look at these lineups, and if you don't like the lineups, or you want to do your baseball reference or baseball almanac, and you want to change things around, go ahead and change it. But you know what? If not, don't. Look, you can still set up roles for everybody. And if you don't think, I hear people, yeah, do you like the DH or are you a baseball fan? Amen, brother. So the other thing is this: I'll hear people whinging and whining, right? Well, I don't understand it. I set up the World Series and like the game like put this dude into like never pitched, man. I'm like, well, did you got to kind of look at the screen, So maybe you don't agree that Luis Arroyo's primary role should be a long relief. Okay, well, change it. You can. So anyhow, but we're ready to go. So when we play ball, we are ready to go. Ralph, Terry, Bob, Friend, game one in at Forbes Field. And we can play it or simulate the game. We're ready to go. You can still review all your players through here, all that stuff. If you realize, oh shit, I started this. Wait a minute. As long as you don't hit that play button, let's go back here. Oh yeah, I want to switch and I want to put Gil McDougald, blah, blah, blah. There you go. So this is a great, great way to also get into playing out of the park baseball. Just replay a World Series. Get used to how the screen works. Get used to how the managing works. And in fact, we're going to jump into this game, and we're not going to really play, but we're going to muck about here for a little bit, because this would be the one screen where people are going to get scared. But all these are just options for the game. These are the basic options for the game. Set things up, season to taste, and just go into it. That's all. So, for instance, if we start game, you'll get to see, because you've done all that work downloading Silva's ballparks and uniforms and all that kind of insanity. Welcome to Forbes Field, 1960. And I predict in Game 7, Bill Mazeroski's going to go over there somewhere with a big, big hit. Right? This is set up. Here's all your managing options. But if you just want to take your time with it, go to options, game options, and maybe you don't want to do full managing. Maybe you don't want to manage at all. So, okay, you don't have to. All right. Just change it. Just change it. Okay. Now, it's not going to just set the computer AI. Boom. Set the computer AI if you want. Now, only thing you have to do is just click the continue button. The AI is going to manage both teams. You can look at your substitutions. This is a widget game, so maybe you don't want these showing all the place, all the time. These the widgets over here, you can turn them on and off as well. You can. What's the weather for today here? All that kind of stuff. So Barbara likes being the manager. Okay, cool. So let's be the manager, and we will manage the Pittsburgh Pirates and do a couple innings. How's that sound? Let's do that. Let's go to game options, and we're going to be the Pirates, and boom. Okay. Now notice it doesn't say my name up here. So that's no big deal. It's no big deal. All right. I see if I think I still have this. Um, no, I don't. Let me make sure. We might as well do a game while we're here, or at least a little bit, right? Okay. Theoretically, we should be good to go. Yeah, it sounds pretty. Yep. I think. I hope. I hope you guys are in a crowd. All right. So we're going to manage the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's return to the game, and we are here. So if you're super new, you've picked your World Series and you're ready to rock and roll. You want to go up here, you can. You can turn on there. Look, you want to look at how many available pinch hitters there are for the Yankees, for the Pirates. You can scroll all the way down here. So there's a lot in here, but just take it a step at a time, is all you got to do, right? See, we're showing and hiding the pitcher batter. You can customize the screen the way you want. You can even go into classic mode. In fact, let's say you want to play this like and make it look more like a diamond mind type baseball game. Well, you can do that too. If you go to view, how about this? Let's do look at that. So many ways to even play this. If you're like, dude, I don't need this 3D stuff. Beautiful, beautiful game. Why wouldn't you? But there you go. You can play it like that, and you configure the screen the way you want it to be played. You got all these stats, all these ratings. There's your manager choices down there. Okay. Maybe you want to do a webcast view. Okay, let's do that. So there it is. In fact, there's a ballpark generator out there that you can find that will generate ballparks that you can use in here. And this is going to show pitch locations, things like that, right? Um, just really, really good stuff. There's also a classic 3D view. Show you that. So the advantage, I like the modern 3D view, but the classic 3D view, it's a beautiful game. It really is. And these ballparks that Mike did in Google SketchUp, by the way. Not the easiest program to work with at all. I know, coming from working with programs like Blender and Houdini and 3D Studio Max and all that stuff, that Google SketchUp is, and that these are all done in that. So you do get more stats in this version to look at. So, we got Bill Skowron up the dish here for the Yanks. We can look at career stats. We can see what he did in that season more completely, situationally. So lots more stats. What was his season versus righties versus Bob Friend? Of course, nothing, because he never faced Bob Friend. Baseball Fan 2005, nice out of the park 26, but you have the Go version. Unfortunately, is bad. So, are you saying that you feel that out of the park Go is bad? I think so. Again, it's all subjective. I think it's I think out of the park Go is really the best baseball app out there. $9, you get the game, and it spend additional $20, and you get every season from 1901 to 2024. I think that's pretty good. So, what is it you don't like about Out of the Park Go? I'm just really curious. Yeah, at $9.99, Out of the Park Baseball is almost exclusive. David Baseball Demos. D. Scott Howard says you can sit to look at grainy black and white TV. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. For the non-steam crowd, says Mick F. Let's put this up here really quickly. For the non-steam crowd, Microsoft Stadiums and install instructions can be found here. So there it is. And it's really easy to do. So there you go. I like the modern 3D view. I used to like Go. No, Commissioner wrote. Okay. I am so with you, Baseball Fan 2005, and welcome to the family. They really, really. Oh, you don't have to apologize. I mean, if you don't like it, that's cool. I'm just, more about why not. But you know what? I'm totally with you on that. I want commissioner mode in that game, and I want to be able to play cross era. I realize that's going to bring it close to big brother here or big sister, but um, Androids and iPads are getting a lot more powerful now. That I think at least adding commissioner mode would be really nice. If you watch closely, the ballpark scoreboards, yeah, they fill in as you proceed through your game. So on some of these, like so here, you're not going to necessarily see it, but somewhere in this ballpark is a live scoreboard, and for modern parks that have them, but Mike also instituted those in his ballparks. But let's go to the modern 3D view. This is the view I prefer. Don't know why, but it is. So ballparks, yeah. Um, I what I'd like to see them do to baseball fan is there's that default ballpark, um, and I'm glad now that they do have for something like when you're playing. I have a 1934 one going on my on Out of the Park Go on my Android tablet, and so you get this. It's kind of like the minor league looking park, but at least it looks like an older park, and it's like okay, it's believable the teams would play in this park in the 1930s. But that default park that's also in there that used to be in this game, I don't know if it is anymore. Um, that it's just like oh my god, just use your own ballpark creator and please create something nicer. But that being said, great stuff. All right, let's do a couple innings here. Smokey Burgess, Bob Friend, and Bill Skowron will begin the drama. Act one here. Yep. All right. And as we go around here, we are adjacent to the University of Pittsburgh and the Oakland section of the Steel City. And here we go. Here's the pitch from Bob Friend. And in there, Bill Skowron strikes out. So one up, one down. You can play this game in pitch by pitch mode if you want. They've improved more than past goes. Oh, yeah. Yep. They really have. It would be freaky scary if the clock at Forbes Field showed the correct time. That would be kind of cool if it did. But you take what you get. Take what you can get. All right, here's Tony Kubek now. By the way, so Bob Friend, 18 and 12 in 1960, 275 and two-thirds innings pitched, 92 earned runs, 45 walks, 183 strikeouts, and an ERA of 3. Good stuff, good movement, decent velocity. And here's Kubek. Kubek in the actual World Series, Forbes Field had that hard infield. Took a hard short hop, hit him on the throat that allowed the Pirates to get to the bottom of the ninth inning and whoop these guys. Well, not whoop them, but beat them. So the Pirates were actually, if you look at the World Series, the Yankees were outscoring them like mad in total runs and stuff. Kubek 273 average with 14 home runs and 62 runs batted in. Bob Friend ready to deal. Here's the wind and the 2-1 pitch. Kubek cuts on this one. Little roller over there to second, and no problem for Bill Mazeroski for the 3 put up. So 2 up, Yankees up, 2 Yankees down, and here is Roger Maris, who next season will make history. But not a bad season in 1960 with 39 home runs and 112 runs batted in. All right, Friend ready to bring it to Maris. The count is full. Maris cut on, grounder to short, and routine play there for Dick Grote. And the New York Yankees go 1-2-3 here in game 1 of the 1960 World Series. We head to the bottom of the first. New York Yankees, nothing. The Pittsburgh Pirates coming to bat. Leading off for the Buccos is Don Hoke, third baseman. Hoke, 16 home runs, 79 runs batted in, a 282 average. Ralph Terry starting today for the New York Yankees, 10 wins, 8 losses. Struck out 92, walked 52, gave up 83 or 63 earned runs. And we're ready to go here. Baseball. So Baseball Fan says, so it's 420 on D. Scott Howard's ballpark. How about it on your clocks? Baseball Fan 2005. And again, welcome to the family. This is a family, not just a channel. It's a family. You're all part of it. So your dad's Yankees and Pirates. His favorite's Roberto Clemente. And I see his team in this year, still actual lineups. So Yankees, so your dad is Yankees, Pirates. Okay. All right, here we go. 0-1 pitch from Ralph Terry. And the 0-1 pitch. And Don Hoke is going to send a grounder all the way to the corner there by the scoreboard, just below the Longines Clark. And he's going for 3. Don Hoke going for the triple. And the Buccos open it up here with a 3-bagger. How about it? Hey, Forrest, welcome in. Happy New Year and Merry 6th day of Christmas. So there we go. Nobody out. And the Buccos looking to strike first. And here is Roberto Clemente, 314 average, 16 home runs, and 94 RBI. Ralph Terry having to work out of the stretch. So 2-2 pitch on the way. Cut on by Clemente. And this one soft liner to short. And Tony Kubek makes a nice play on that. So nowhere for Don Hoke to go. So one away for the Bucks. Here's Bob Skinner. 273 average for him, 86 ribbies, and 15 dingas. Hope you're doing well, Forrest. Count full on Skinner. All right, Skinner, good eye up there. Now, we talked about Mike's uniform mods. So that's in this game too. And if you look, I could actually change a camera view and look in. In fact, we'll do it like this. So you can see. Let's do just a super stats replay so you can see the uniform. There we go. Look at that. And we could get closer if we want, but the Pirates had those kind of cutaway. I always call them like sort of basketball jerseys I get with the shirt underneath. So Yankees wearing their road grays and stuff. Yeah, good stuff. All right, and Happy New Year, everybody. Baseball fan just said to start stream because I've been watching Out of the Park lately. So a Red Sox fan. We got another Red Sox fan in our family. Okay, another one in the community. Truth Hurts Wilkie. He is a diamond mind. Guru says 29-year-old shortstop is suffering from damage to nerve at the top of the spinal cord. Why Kubek retired at age 29. Wow. Bit of trivia. I did not know that about Tony Kubek. Amazing. Tony Kubek goes on, of course, to have an excellent career as a broadcaster, too. All right, here's Dick Stewart batting in the cleanup spot. The Buccos with runners at the corners. Boy, and do you want to? I don't think we're going to play any dead ball tactics here. I could try to send Skinner, but so down there you get these nice ratings here. Don't think so. Now, if you don't want the weight of that, let me tell you this. So you can go into game options, and if you wanted to, you could have the computer take over the base running if you wanted to. So again, this game gives you so many options. Where do you go to download these ballparks? So if you bought it from Steam in the workshop, if you bought it from the devs, there is, I believe, in the Out of the Park forums, that's where they are. And Mike gives you all the instructions. Mick F was kind enough to put the link, and I'm going to put that in the chat for you. So there you go. Non-Steam crowd, there it is. So that will be where they are if you don't have the game on Steam. While the devs don't get a biggest cut when the game's bought on Steam, the nice thing about Steam is the workshop and the fact that the game stays automatically updated. You're welcome, Forrest. You're absolutely welcome, buddy. All right, Dick Stewart batting, and Yankees looking to try to turn the 2 spot here. 0-1 pitch to Stewart. Swung on and diving stop there at second. They're not going to turn 2. Gil McDougall, nice play, but coming in to score is Don Hoke, and the Pittsburgh Pirates take the lead here in the bottom of the first. It's 1-0, game 1 of the 1960 World Series. All right, here's a catcher, Smokey Burgess now, 7 home runs, 39 ribbies, and a 294 average. Bob Skinner in scoring position at second, 2 away. So great play there by Gil McDougall. He doesn't make that play, and the Buccos very possibly get a crooked number up there. So you have it on Steam for the auto updates. Then just go to the Steam workshop, Subscribe to Mike Silva's ballpark mods and the uniform mods. And then once you subscribe, go into the Out of the Park. I showed this earlier in the video. Go to the Out of the Park main screen, hit Workshop Central, find the mods, click to install them, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, Burgess in the box now. Pirates looking for more. A 1 pitch. Cut on Burgess, gets good wood on that one, but it's Tony Kubek snaring it out of the, well, let's say the troposphere, not quite the stratosphere. The Buccos pick up a run on a hit. They leave one in scoring position. We head to the top of the second. Pirates lead the Yankees 1-0. D. Scott Howard says, "Have good everybody." He's off to Sam Carver Gym at Western Washington University for some D2 women's b-ball. Yeah, man, have a great time, D. Scott. Thank you for coming in. We're not going to play out this whole game, just mucking about for a few more. But tonight, join Ken Castro on Apago as we'll be playing Game 4 of the 1912 World Series. Head-to-head managing there. Giants leading the Red Sox 2-1. Good matchup tonight. Smokey Joe Wood and Jeff Tesreau. So that will be this evening on the channel, probably 8-ish, 8:30-ish, around there. All right, here is the Mick. We got to at least see the Mick and Yogi and Hector Lopez. So Mickey Mantle, my goodness gracious. How about it? 40 home runs, 275 average. So batting lefty against Bob Friend. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Mantle swings, and this one a little flare into left field. Mickey will take it. Tomorrow in the New York Times, that's going to read like a screaming line drive, and the New York Daily News probably isn't going to pay a lot of attention. New York's picture newspaper. All right, so the Mick, and don't forget, Mick had some speed. Mickey on board here, and let's see, do we want to, yeah, let's throw to first. Let's try to keep the Mick honest. He dives back, and Mick's back in there safely. All right. You know, guys, I've often thought in a baseball simulation, right? So when you have, right, because baseball is, right, the count is so situational, right? So usually, you know, and right, and just about every cards and dice game, and even in digital baseball, we tend to play just sort of the batter result. Do you have a season with 1977, the iPad? Play and watch all the team games with real historical lineups. Yeah, that is cool. It's excellent. Out of the Park goes excellent, and boy, has it come a long way. But if I wanted to, and if I thought that, you know, I could just switch to pitch by pitch mode now, right? So let's go ahead. Let's pitch. So the runner not going on the first pitch. So curveball in there for strike 1. Berra back in the box, looking over. It has the signs from the coach. Here's the pitch. And Berra sends the 0-1 pitch. So the Bucks going to turn 2. Indeed, they will. A 6-4-3 double play, and you got to love that. So Grote to Maz to Stewart. And then now we've got Hector Lopez up there. So maybe just switch it back to just turn off the pitch by pitch. And let's go ahead. So Lopez is going to be swinging on the first pitch, though. Stuff liner back to the mound, and great grab there by Bob Friend. So the Yankees pick up a little flare single for Mickey Mantle, and then that's it. We go to the bottom of the second. Yankees lead, or the Pirates lead the Yankees 1-0. And at this point, we'll just go ahead and finish out the first game if we want to, and we do want to. And what do we have here? So the Buccos take game 1, 5-1. Pittsburgh Pirates started the World Series in styles, downing the visiting New York Yankees at Forbes Field by a score of 5-1 to stake an early 1-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. Bucco right-hander Bob Friend threw 9 innings of 6-hit ball. That's pretty damn impressive, huh? Friend delivered a quality start for Pittsburgh. The 6-foot right-hander allowed no earned runs on 6 hit over 9 innings of work. So then you get like a little thing. So it generates it. I love this WPA graph over here. That's really nice. I'm a very visual person. I like that. Great newspaper style box score. Totally interactive. Tony Kubek with 2 errors in the game. Roberto Clemente had a stolen base. Pretty cool. Player of the game, Bob Friend, of course. There's your complete pitching line. And we just leave game. And finished today, and we're ready to play game 2. Wow, good matchup. We might do this one, not now, but Whitey Ford and Harvey Haddix. That's a pretty damn fine matchup right there. So, gonna leave it at that. Bill Verdon throwing homer. Yeah, we can get back and look at that box score again. There we go. There we go. Bill Vernon. How about that? Bill Verdon, who would go on to manage the Pirates later in the 70s after Danny Murtaugh. So the Yankees, I mean, just yeah, I love just how deep it goes and awesome stuff. And what can you say? Don't be afraid of Allen Park baseball. It's not going to hurt you. It's a nice game. It's friendly. And we'll go back to the play ball. That is it. The only thing that you do want to do when you do create an exhibition or you're replaying a World Series, just so you can remember what you do, when you create an exhibition, go to load game after you finished everything up or you play your first game, um, and then what you want to do in here is look for where it says historical exhibition and then just look at the date 1960, right? So just click on it, rename it to 1960 World Series or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be lazy and just say WS. And that's it. You're done. And then you can just cancel. But it's renamed. That's it. Um, I left this up only because I want to show you its modularity. So this is the game screen for Baseball for Windows, and then we'll cut out of here. To be able to use any of the other modules, I have to close this. So when I close this, and then I want to go to Advanced Draft, and I want to review rosters, it automatically knows because the modules do talk to one another. So it knows that I'm using this all-time greats league in here in Baseball for Windows. Click OK. And now I can start bopping around looking at rosters, what have you. There we go. Look at the whole league down here. This is also where you can go in. You can do trades. You can view a player's view his card, not his actual. I mean, I don't know why they put this in here, because you need a G-Scrambler to see that. But if you want to like just kind of look at Bobby Doerr as he is in Baseball for Windows, there you go. You can do this. You have to go to other sort of. This is where you're going to take care of drafts, where you're going to go into a lot of sort of managing type things that you want to do in this game. And then when you're done, you just, leave. Boom. Do that. Go back to League Manager. If I change this and load a different season, you'll see then that will be reflected down here in Advanced Draft and Stat Master and all that kind of stuff. Yankees logo never changed throughout the years, remained consistent. Yeah. So, yeah, they pretty much did. Their very, very first year, there's a slight difference, but it is basically the same. And I'm talking about on the ball caps, but yeah, pretty much the Yankees have always had that logo. And I mean, why not, right? Why not? I'm a Bucco fan, but you can't deny the greatness of the Yankees franchise. Folks, that's it. We've been on here for an hour and 25 minutes. And, just thank you for taking time out on your New Year's Day. And for those of you that don't, you might have been watching some college football while this is going on. Thank you for your time. So it's a Baseball Fan 2005. I hope you welcome back. Mick F., thank you. My problem was looking under the hood at the ratings in Allen Park 26. That can get a little bit freaky. And there's still work, constant development that's being done on the game too. They always have an eye, always, at Allen Park Developments for historical accuracy. And considering that this game started in 1999, and of course, I contend that the thing that changed digital baseball gaming forever was the Sean Lahman database. That just changed it all, because before, like in Earl Weaver baseball, yeah, you could do any team that you want, or in full count baseball or micro league baseball, but you had to input the teams. Sean Lama database. But anyhow, how the park baseball, the very first edition, I'm like, I remember, man, because I'm like, wait a minute. This is 1999. I'm at, Penn State, and I'm like, what is this German guy? Who is this Marcus Heinsohn guy? And don't you right? I mean, I know Europe, right? Lived there, blah blah blah. They're all about footy over there. What's this guy doing with baseball? This can't be good. And remember, the game came on a CD, and man, I was entranced. But just continually how this game has evolved, and I think it has. It's really been a revolutionary game, um, to give you everything and say, okay, here you go. You got the tools. Get your hands dirty as you want. So you are new. Well, welcome in. You are a member of the family. So, yeah, hoping you come back. And yeah, as Barbara says, come back again. Always welcome. So, so you weren't around in '95. Okay. Well, I said 1999, but we'll go with 95. That's cool. It's okay. So you were born in 2005. All right. So you are now officially the family's. You're the youngin. Okay. You're the youngin here. So and so if my math is correct, you're gonna be 21. So no beer for you, young man. All right. So yeah, I stream erratically, but I do stream. That sounds like something I should go to see a urologist about. Streaming erratically, huh? Maybe not. Anyhow, thank you to our lovely whirlwind, Barbara, to the newest member of our family, Baseball Fan 2005, for coming in. Mick F, always a pleasure to have you, brother. Always a pleasure. Everybody, man. D. Scott Howard, he's going off to do some basketball. Forrest, thank you very much, my friend. Forrest Heidert was here with us today. Truth Hurts Wilkie, we're going to get him on mic, and we're gonna convert you guys also to Diamond Mine Baseball, because we have cookies. This guy, he knows so much about it. David Baseball Demos, the punster and the servant of Tabby, joined us today. Thank you, David. Very, very, very much for that. Larry, my man, thank you. I love your avatar. I told you that before. So Larry joining us here today from Louisiana. A special. So you're going to find him as P. Strickert with a T, in the Allen Park Forum. So Paul Strickert. This guy is just brilliant. So definitely, just go peruse the Out of the Park forums. Parallel League Shackist was here. Cousin Ken Castro, heart and soul of this family, was with us. D13L3Y. I love that. That's a good secret agent designation. Just thanks for coming in, man. We appreciate that. John DFW, the man who created our Discord, strongly urge you, please join, not only for the 3 free baseball games, but for the community. Smelling Wrestling Geek was here. And yes, he hasn't been here in a year. So better change that up, right? I know. I'm so last year myself. What are you going to do? At rate. Brother Jack Dawson, usually first in the ballpark, but did make it. Thank you, buddy, for coming in. Philip Reynolds today was the first one in the old ball orchard, as they would have said, in the 19th century, which I find to be very bizarre imagery indeed. So, Aaron Judge, you said, unfortunately, that guy is ringless. I know, right? So we'll see what the Yanks do. Well, the moves that they're making and everything. And baseball fans, we are roughly 6 weeks from pitchers and catchers report. So that's usually that week, the end of that week after the Super Bowl. So 6 weeks away. Let's be really positive, and let's say 42 days. Yeah, give or take 42 days until pitchers and catchers report. That is the most wonderful time of the year. It really is. All right. Till I see you later, if you decide to come back, folks. Thank you, family. And teach cousin Ken Castro about 1912 baseball tonight. Game 4 of the 1912 World Series. Until then, see everybody around the batting cage. And thank you for sharing some time with me today. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. All right. And you too, take care, baseball fans. See you down. Can't say see you down the road. That's David's tagline. See you around the batting cage. I'll sneak a beer to you, brother. All right. Catch you all in a bit.